Hi everybody, it's Larry and this is Dad What's for Dinner. And today we're not making dinner, today we are celebrating. We have hit 50 subscribers, so thanks to all of you. I really appreciate all the love and all the loyalty, and we're here to celebrate. And I thought, what better way to celebrate than making a cake? And I'm in Texas, so you know what that means. We got to make a Texas sheet cake. But, you know, to be fair and to be honest, the Texas sheet cake, the whole name of Texas sheet cake doesn't necessarily come from it being in Texas. I think that it just is because everything is so big in Texas and you're making a big sheet cake, you know, big cake, big Texas sheet cake. Anyway, once again, thank you to all of you that have subscribed, and I hope that we're going to reach a bunch of milestones together in the future. So let's get on with the recipe. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is go ahead and combine our dry ingredients. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of just plain old white sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. And we'll give that a quick mix up. And after that, we're going to put in 2 eggs and give them a quick beat. And also with that, we're going to put in a half a cup of sour cream. And then we're going to go ahead and beat that all together. So we just want to beat this till it's thoroughly combined, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so the next step is you're going to take a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks, and we're going to melt that over low heat. We don't want to brown the butter, we just want to melt it. Okay, so once that butter is melted, we're going to go ahead and add in 5 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder and just a cup of regular old water. Nothing special here. We'll stir that up. I'm going to bring this to a boil and then let it cool off a little bit, and then we will combine it with the other mixture. So we'll do that and we'll be back. Okay, so like I said, you want to bring this to a boil. And once we bring it to a boil, we're just going to go ahead and take it off the heat and let it cool for a minute or 2, and then we'll combine it with the other ingredients. Okay, so this isn't in the actual recipe, and I apologize for the chomping noise in the background. My dogs, every time I get ice out, my dogs have to get some. But I'm being patient, so what I did is I just put a bowl with some ice, and I'm going to cool this down to room temperature a little quicker because I'm impatient. Little cooking hack or baking hack or whatever, but definitely not in the recipe. The recipe, by the way, and give a shout out and give credit where credit is due, is from allrecipes.com, and I can definitely link the recipe in the description, and if they have a video, I'll put a card up, a link up in the video here so you guys can see it. But yeah, great site. Okay, so once you get this down to a manageable temperature, we're just going to add that cocoa and butter mixture to our mixture from earlier. And just scrape it all in there. All right. And we're just going to mix her up. Now you just want to beat this till it's smooth. I suppose I could have done this in my stand mixer, but it's just easier with the beaters for something this small. It's only going to take me a minute. But if you have a stand mixer and you want to use it, I mean, you could do the same thing with a stand mixer. All right. I'm going to call that good. And we're going to pour that into a prepared 10 by 15 jelly roll pan, sheet tray, whatever you want to call it. And we're just going to pour that in. And then we're just going to get that all the way out into the corners. And then it's ready to go into the oven. It's going to be at 350 for 20 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. So we'll go ahead and do that and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so while the cake is baking, we're going to take a half a cup of butter, which is just one stick, 5 more tablespoons of cocoa powder, and 6 tablespoons of milk. And we're going to go ahead and bring that to a boil. And then we'll add some other ingredients to that as we go. Oh, after it boils, rather, not as we go. Okay, so once this mixture comes to a boil, the recipe says to go ahead and shut the heat off. And then we're going to combine, or rather not combine, but stir in. This is 4 cups of powdered sugar, confectioner sugar, whatever. We're going to stir that in. Hopefully I don't regret using a bigger saucepan, but and we'll get that all combined. Let's say that you want to keep mixing this till you don't see any more white. At this point, we're going ahead and add in a teaspoon of vanilla. Get that in there. And last but not least, we're going to add in a cup of chopped walnuts. And obviously, nuts are an optional item. But we're going with nuts. So once that's all combined, we'll set this aside until it's time to spread it on the cake, which should be in about 10 minutes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look and see if we're done. Alrighty, so that came out clean, so we're going to go ahead and shut her down and pour out and get ready to get this thing frosted. And there it is in all its glory. So the recipe says to do this while it's warm. And I have a feeling that it's counting on the heat of the cake to kind of make this stuff spreadable, because as it sits, it's not very. You know what, I might have let this set too long. I'm going to go ahead and heat this frosting up a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I heated this frosting up a little bit to make it a little bit more spreadable. And you're probably going to want to do that because the whole point of this cake is like you're supposed to have this like fudgy layer on top. So it's when this all cools down, you got your nice chocolate cake topped with kind of like a layer of fudge. So I'm just going to use an offset spatula. You can use, don't have an offset spatula, I suppose you could use a regular rubber spatula, but you want to work pretty quickly and get this all the way spread out. I think that's about as spread out as I'm going to get. Hey, it's future me. After making this recipe and going back and reviewing it, just want to give you all some updates. The frosting needs to be hot and like almost boiling, not quite boiling, but very hot to spread. I think that I let it sit and cool too long, and that was part of the problem. I know I addressed that some in the video, but I just wanted to go back and say, hey, you really need to make sure that you make that time making that frosting so that it is hot when the cake comes out of the oven, so that you have the heat of the cake and the hot frosting, and then that gives you that nice glossy top. I apologize. I also don't have any plating footage because the way that I ended up doing this made the cutting and the plating look really ugly, and I just basically have a pile of cake crumbs. So full disclosure. But hey, it's all a learning experience. I actually never made a Texas sheet cake before, but keep in mind the whole purpose of this was to celebrate and have some fun because, again, hey, 50 subscribers, I appreciate it. You are all very dear to me, and I'm very humbled and very thankful for each and every one of you. Again, hope that we can keep plugging on and enjoying this content together, and I'll talk to y'all later. Take care and God bless. And if you like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you next time.